Welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we're playing in day one of the Arena Open. The format is sealed, and so we're going to be opening up our packs and seeing what rares we open. This format is largely dominated by the mythics and the rares that you open, so it's pretty important we get something good here, and we've got some good ones, definitely. Amori's fine, Croxer and Komoros is good if you can play it. Pylon's great, but Chandra's Hope's Beacon is just an amazing one to open, and we've got two more. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at those, but I think we're going to be leaning pretty heavily towards the Chandra here. We've also got the Blood Feather Phoenix and then Lathiel the Bounteous Dawn, which is good if you've got some synergy cards with it, but just having a look, I think it looks like red is probably going to be the colour that we're going to want to prioritise. So the next thing I like to do in my sealed pools is just pull out all the cards in every colour that I think are playable. So we've got the Phoenix, Double Spite, which is great, Artisan, Dreadship's fine, Stoke, Javelineer. These cards are all playable. Two Dragons. We might not play both the Dragons, but this looks like a pretty decent red base to be able to play. There's 11 cards here. And I mean, we can play another Dreadship if we need to, and another Scrounger if we need to as well. But also got some dual lands here, and we've got a Skittering Surveyor as well. So, as well as two Urns. So it looks like we can potentially splash depending on, where we want to end up. The next colour I want to take a look at is white. We have two Norn's Inquisitor, which is very strong. Phyrexian Adventurer, but outside of that, it really doesn't look like there's much there for us. We'd have to be pretty desperate, I think, to play that. And then just looking at our blue immediately, I mean, we've got Annihilate, Essence, Order of the Mirror, Eyes, Invasion, Entitled Terror, but there's nothing enticing us into blue there either. So I think let's just start by bringing out all the black cards now that we would play. And yeah, I mean, black as well is quite shallow here. So I don't even really want to play the Dreg Recycler either. Deadly Derision, Final Flourish is certainly good, but that is quite a shallow colour. And now we'll just take a look at green. So we've got two Herbology Instructors, very strong. Invasion of Ixalan is good. Portent Tracker, the Pest is good as well. And then it really falls off. I mean, there's Renata Called to the Hunt, and a Wildwood Escort as well. So that looks pretty poor as well. So I think we're almost certainly going to be playing red here at this point, and it's going to be about maximising the other colours that we can come up with and taking a look at the different decks that we can play. Skittering Surveyor is, I think, certainly one that's going to make its way into this deck in one form or another. And with the lands we have so we have a lot of jewels here in the black-blue, in this Esper colour, as well as the blue-red. So there's some small chance that we can play a deck that's splashing a little bit more than we normally would using these cards. And there's, we've got Wrath, Halo Forager, Amori as well as a black card as well. So we could play like black and then look to splash some other options as well. I'll just take we've obviously got the Croxer and Konoris as well here. So what I might do is I might just lay out a deck and then come back and speak to that deck and what I'm thinking with it, and then we might take a look at some other decks as well. So just bear with me in one moment while I lay that one out. Alrighty, and this is the black-red deck splashing 3 blue cards and then the Croxer and Konoris. So it looks a little bit adventurous, but I actually think the mana base is fine. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 white sources for 1 white card, as well as the treasure from the Deadly Derision. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 6th source for blue. This deck has Double Spite, Final Flourish. It also has Daily Derision, Pylon, and Stoke. So it has some good removal package. And then splashing the Baralan, Carol, Zev, and the Halo Forager for value, as well as Invasion of Vryn, because I think this deck lacks card draw. Certainly a little bit clunkier with the double branch burner, but really I don't want to play a second Dreadship, and I'm not really keen on playing the first Hanger Scrounger, let alone the second. So I think the Hanger Scrounger or the Dreadship are probably going to be the card that we sort of sideboard in and out, depending on the matchup. I think there's an argument we could be playing a Tidal Terror instead of one of those, actually. But really, with only just the one island, I don't really love that. I think as well the other card I consider is Blade Battle Fan, but we don't have a ton of creatures, and I just find that card quite situational. So I also had a look at green-red, but we lose 3 removal spells doing that, and really we gain the double Herbology Instructor and not much else. And so I think that this is going to be the deck that we're going to run with. So see how we go in game number 1. Alrighty, on the draw for game number 1 with a keepable hand here. This hand would be a little bit awkward on the play, but on the draw I think it's fine. We have Etherblade Agent into Dreadship, into a Mori to make our creatures cheaper. Just got to hit those land drops here. Not looking like going to, but yeah, I think this sealed format is... I've read a lot on Twitter about people not liking it, not enjoying it, and I think it definitely is one of those formats where it really is dictated by the bombs that you come up against, and there's a fair bit of variance in that respect, and there's a lot less skill in terms of the deck you have when compared to draft, but that's just the way that sealed is a lot of the time, and I just don't think there's much you can do about that. But when you get this kind of pool, I think we have the Chandra, we have the big 6 drops. We definitely have enough swingy plays to be able to keep up with some of the best decks. But some of the best decks in the format, you know, you'll see people with Boonbringer Valkyrie and Sunfall, and it's just pretty difficult to beat them. So you've certainly got to have a bit of luck, I think, in this one to make day 2. But if you make day 2, then it is draft, and then that's a lot of fun. So this game, they've come out with Drag Recycler and Agent. We've got the Agent. We chose not to block here. No need to, and they could easily have a bigger creature in green. We want to swap our Death Toucher for. And next turn we have, you know, a Mori to mark the ground up, or we can flip our Incubate token and hold up Stoke the Flames. So I think that it's worth taking the 2 points of damage there, and the opponent, you know, has got the urn down. They've got 3 cards in hand, and they're probably thinking here about paying the mana to flip this. If they do, we'll just snap block. So yeah, now I think, okay, so we don't have a choice now, but we can just ship the turn here and say go. Opponent, I think, potentially has Deadly Derision here because they didn't flip. They should have some play here, and they probably thought we were going to flip our own. So they've got Vanquish the Weak here. So we could stoke the Agent now, because actually there's no need to stoke the Agent. I was thinking if we stoke the Agent, we stop them from transforming, but if they go to transform here, we can just crew the Dreadship and trade it pretty easily here. I'm also willing to trade the token for the Drag Recycler here. See, our opponent can flip this, but then we just Dreadship kill this. In a pretty good position this game, I think, with the opponent only having 3 cards in hand. They've only got 2 cards here. I think they're likely going to try and flip the Agent, and we're going to get to take it down with the Dreadship. And even if they have a trick here, I mean, I'll trade the Dreadship for a trick, and then we can stoke it next turn. So this opponent looks like they're just going to be getting in with Recycler. Pretty happy to trade the Incubate token here for that. We still have our Dreadship, so now like we can play a Mori. If they flip this, then we can just... So here I think we can't play a Mori actually because we don't have double black, but we can play Baralkar and Zev. I think that's fine. If they go to kill this, we can crew in response, and now next turn we can actually stoke. this really gets blown out if they have like a Vanquish the Week or something here, or a Final Flourish sacrifice Finn, but they don't. So now we're going to be able to stop them from transforming here. And really at this point it's about, like, our life total's not any threat. We just want to stop them from getting back into the game with cards through the Etherblade Agent. Make sure that we take this down, and then we can start playing out our own cards. I think the Fangbearer wants to get in. And given we've got so many big creatures here, I'm happy to trade the Marauding Dreadship here. So Dreadship, I mean, has taken down 2-for-1 them by killing the Drag Recycler and the Finn the Fangbearer. So it's really big for us. I think it's probably a matchup, this opponent's deck, where we might actually swap out the so now we can just stoke this. We might swap out the Hanger Bruiser, is it? For the 2-1 that has backup for the second copy of Marauding Dreadship, given it looks like it trades pretty favourably with the opponent. So now opponent, they have 3 cards. They have the Urn. They can use it to kill Baral, Kara and Zev. But I mean, next turn we could actually just play the dragon if we want, or we can play Invasion of Vryn to start getting more cards, depending on what they do, really. Baral and Kara Zev is just so good if you manage to untap and play a spell there. Like, we kill that creature, we get a 2-1 out of it. There's the Hanger Scrounger itself. But I think we're just going to go ahead and do this. It's going to put pressure on the opponent. We want to start hitting land drops as well. So we'll discard Hanger Scrounger here. Go ahead and run out the land. And we do want to flip the Invasion of Vryn here, I think. Or at least pressure them to the point where they have to have something to block the 2-1. And even potentially make them need to, if they don't have a creature to block here, we can put them in a position where they've got to Urn of Godfire, the 2-1 token, just to prevent us from being able to double spell them. Nazumi Freewill is a good one, but unfortunately for the opponent, so now we can pretty safely just Volcanic Spite it because we have the second. So I think actually, we still can't Amora here. I think we just still Volcanic Spite this, and we've put Amori back at this point. We just want to hit. We want to hit lands or Chandra, and we have a play for next turn by being able to Halo Forager, and here I'm just going to Mountain Cycle away the Host Charger. The reason for doing this is we can actually play Halo Forager and Volcanic Spite and then double spell the Volcanic Spite here. So that's very strong. Or we can, if we draw another land, we can Deadly Derision. So it's just important to be hitting the land drops there, I think, more so than having the 5/5. And if we're playing a 6-mana spell, we're just going to be casting Chandra at that point. So happy to trade that in there. Now opponent's like certainly in a really, really tough spot. 2 cards in hand. It'd take a lot for them to come back in this situation and beat us. But I've seen stranger things happen in this format. Yeah, I think it's possible. This is my first attempt at this qualifying for day 2 for this Arena Open. It certainly took me a few last time. I think if you just don't get the pulls, it can be pretty disheartening and you can burn through gems very quickly. But if you manage to get a busted pull, you should, be able to qualify a fair bit of the time. But even then, you come up against some very strong decks and you just might not get there. I think I saw another video from a different YouTuber and they, really struggled with what looked like an amazing pull. So here I think we just want to, don't know if we might just want to Javelineer and copy it here and set up for Chandra next turn. I think that's what we want to do. So we'll just attack first. and then just get 2 big bodies down on the battlefield. Pretty happy to just get 2 5/4 reaches that can also just go to the face. It's going to force the opponent, I think, to kill one, and then next turn we can Chandra and kill whatever they play. Like we can Chandra and Final Flourish. We've got Halo Forager, Derision. I think this game's pretty locked up. Always good to start with a win. It's pretty tilting, I think, when you do these long events where you've got to get 7 wins and you play the first and you lose. You know, you got to come back before you lose 2 more and win 7 straight. So, opponent has their own Croxar and Canoris. And what are they going to get back? I think they're probably going to get the Freewheeler back. So they're going to get Freewheeler, but I think we're just going to Chandra and then Final Flourish them. Because it'll copy and double. I wonder if the copied version is kicked or not. I think it is. If we sack the 2-1, I think it will be kicked. So they've got the 1-3. Let's just go ahead and cast Chandra, and then we'll add black, Final Flourish, the kicker, and then I think this will be kicked. Yeah, so we get to kick both of them, and now we just bash in, and this game's locked up. I mean, we could just tap both our guys to kill them. Chandra is just an absolutely absurd magic card. The fact that you can play it and +2 it and immediately cast a spell like Final Flourish, and the fact that our deck has 3 2-mana instants is just ridiculous. So there's game 1, and I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back again for game number 2. Another bit of an awkward hand here, but we're going to keep it in sealed. You definitely want to be keeping more hands than you might keep in draft, for example, and your decks are more focused. The fact that we have 2 playable spells, we can put them out and back with Volcanic Spider. We'll probably put Amori back here because it's unlikely we're going to draw double black unless we draw Swamp. Yeah, I think that makes it a very, very keepable hand here. So now I've got a choice between just playing the Phoenix or just spiting this. But I think I'm just going to run the Phoenix out because there's every chance that we draw, happen to draw our 1 island next turn. And then we can just play Baral and Kari Zev there and be able to block the 3-1 instantly. But this is probably the one play that really punishes us here, is that they have that invasion which we can't defend, and now we're just going to have to snap off the spite this turn. So even though we could play this here and block, we just cannot risk them having the flipped angel. So we're just going to go ahead and do that, and we will trade in our mountain for a Hanger Scrounger. Now I think ideal draw would be, a swamp into playing Amori and then being able to play Scrounger and Etherblade Agent for just 3 mana. Opponent is also on 25, so it's going to be difficult to just get them down, but don't mind this here. Certainly would have preferred to spite something more significant, but can't win them all. Renata Call to the Hunt is an awesome one for the opponent. So now we have a choice. I think we just need to go ahead and get the Artisan out over the Blade Agent. It's going to block this fine. And then next turn, I think we'd be happy to just hang a Scrounger onto our 2-2 here. It's a little bit awkward here because if they've got a removal spell, like a Cosmic Hunger, Sorry, if they had Deadly Derision or Realmbreaker's Grasp there, they could have flipped the battle, but Skittering Surveyor is fine. Renata's a lot better in sealed, I think, than in draft. It's quite good in draft as well, but see, now that's really awkward, is that they get the Devotion. I mean, we can't block there. This game's going to be tough for us to win here. Renata is just going to... is absolutely doing work. It's a 5-5 now. So I think we have to hang a Scrounger, put it on the Artisan, and just drop the Etherblade Agent. And the reason for that is the 3-4 can now block all of these except for the Iridescent, and we can block that with the Agent. And then we just have to hope we draw one of our removal spells that can actually kill this. But it's out of the reach of all of our spells except for Final Flourish and Deadly Derision. And I mean, that's just going to get even bigger now. So interesting from opponent there. I think they probably should have put the counter on the Blade Master. It's probably a way to get some better attacks there. So I think we just need to flip this. Doesn't really change our clock if they just keep attacking in the air, and it does allow us to block the Kavu. So I think it's worth paying the 2 life there. But I think this one is probably out of reach for us. The fact that we had to snap off the... yeah, I mean, Pelucranos is just going to seal the deal here. The fact we had to snap off the Spite to kill the 3-1 to stop it flipping, and then they had Renata, is just pretty brutal. Yeah, so Skittering Surveyor is just not going to do it here. Go ahead and run it out. I think we just want to get probably an island here. Could get... we could have got... actually, I think we maybe should have got Swamp, but I think even if we kill this with Deadly Derision, we're still probably losing, and we just need chump blockers in order to go up the board. Okay, Archangel Elspeth. I mean, this is what I mean by busted sealed pools. I mean, like Elspeth, Pelucranos. I mean, that's only 2, but you're just going to see some absurd cards, and like we cannot... yeah, we just lose this game. So opponent has a really sweet deck. They had a sweet draw, and we'll take the first loss, and we'll try and bounce back in game 3. Alrighty, on the play with a much cleaner hand here. The Spite into the Dreadship, Stoke, and also got the Mountain Cycler there if we're not hitting our land drops. That is a fantastic draw. Bloodfeather Phoenix is going to allow us to smash them for 4 if they don't play anything, or 2 in the air if they do. Really good one. I mean, I think even I'm happy to just... like, I'm happy to just trade the Dreadship for the Wary Thespian here and leave the Incubate token behind. So go ahead and run this out. We can just crew this. Opponent either has to trade, you know, that Thespian for this, and the fact that they didn't surveil this either, it means they're only effectively getting 1 surveil out of the card. So we've effectively just paid 3 mana to kill that Thespian and leave a 2-2 behind. And now this turn we're going to go ahead and cycle this. We're going to... I think we're still just going to incubate. Activate the Incubate token here. Although they could have Farah's Dispersal here. I mean, if they've got Dispersal, I think we actually just want to play the Agent. Because if they've got Dispersal, like, it straight up kills this. And I think they do have Dispersal here. And I'd rather them bounce the Phoenix so that we can recast it, as opposed to flip it to stopping this, to just killing this. And now, like, if they tap out, we can flip this and put pressure on them and draw cards. Yeah, so Renata is a good one. And I actually think we just want to kill the Renata. We don't want them getting anything here. We're not going to put anything in the library. There's an argument as well there to flip and to draw the card, but as we saw in the last game, like Renata just putting tokens on everything is absurd. So I'm pretty happy to just snap it off and kill it there. So they have Gore Claw. We can't cast the Forager, but we can just kill this with Stoke the Flames. So is there an argument here to playing Amori first? So if we play Amori, we can name instant. So this is going to do 5, whereas we can do Amori and still hit them for 2. I think I like that a little bit more. So we'll name instant. And we're going to stoke them for 3 here. And then we hit them with the incubate token, get in for 2, and we have a lot more power on the board next turn. We're also going to be able to flip the agent. So here comes the dispersal. Yeah, that's the only downside to that line, I think, is, and maybe we should have, yeah, I mean, they were going to get the dispersal eventually, but maybe we should have tapped the token because we already had the read on Amori there. So we've got Zephyr Singer. So I think we just get in with this. Oh wow, they let us hit there. Okay, that is, I think they actually should just trade. Unless they've got a removal spell this turn for it. I think they really needed to trade there, because Skyclave Aerialist can't trade. Like that, if they knew that they had the Aerialist in hand there as well, they should take that trade. So I mean, now we can just Deadly Derision this. And now we have the treasure for our Halo Forager. We can kill whatever they play next. Volcanic Spite's a fantastic one. So now we just say go. They have to play another blocker. And that's not going to do it, I don't think. Depends what they do here. So we could Volcanic Spite this. I think we just got to add turn though. Okay, Croxos is a sweet one. Yeah, so I think we just get in with the Mind Stinger here. They're probably going to block and try and pump, and then in response we can just spite it. I just don't really see us losing this game if it goes long. We can filter away this as well. The Javelineer. The only thing is I don't want to play the Javelineer just because, although if we play Javelineer, yeah, actually I think if we play Javelineer when it enters the battlefield, yeah, we just play Javelineer here, because the reason for doing this is we can exile everything except for our Haster and then get our Haster back with Kronos, and then that we're going to have 2 5-power creatures that they have to block, and I think that's just game, because we can attack with all of our creatures on the same turn. So we exile everything here, get back to 5-5, and we swing out and win that one. So that was a sweet win. I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back for game number 4 with a very interesting hand here. 2 cards we can't cast and a 6 and a 7 drop on the play. I mean, there are instances when this hand works out, but I think our deck can actually do better, and that this is a mulligan. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep this one. I'm going to put a mountain back. We've got a land cycler. We've got 3 colors. So I think we can pretty safely go ahead and keep that. And this hand is just a lot more functional, and we're just not going to get run over by fast decks than the other hand. I think it's really tempting to keep the other hand just because it's got Chandra, it's got some powerful cards in it, but it doesn't do anything unless we draw lands or spells early. And so It's just not worth keeping in that instance. And we were lucky as well that the opponent did take a mulligan. Skittering Surveyor is going to help them out because they're going to get a 2 for 1 instantly and they get access to their mana, but it's not going to present a threat that we need to deal with. So now I think at the end of this turn we're going to go ahead and cycle out Host Charger here so that we can get the 5/4 down, and if we draw a land we can play the dragon as well. So I think we just run out the Javelineer here, slam that down. They've probably got Deadly Derision here, I think. No, they don't. So now next turn if we hit land we can Shivan Branch Burn up. Wow, okay. So Sheoldred, it's going to be a very, very difficult one for us to beat here. So when it enters the battlefield, so it's just a menace 4/5 at the moment. So we can go ahead and knock this down. Yeah, the fact that this just kills our 5/4 and then it's a menace 4/5 is just absolutely absurd. But we're not out of this game yet. If we draw a white source, we've got Croxer and Kunoris, which outraces the Sheoldred, and the Branch Burner's coming down next turn. So, I mean, wow, opponent punched a little bit there. They really should have flipped this, because they could have had a 4/4 Trample Ward too that turn. But yeah, this is certainly going to be a tough one for us to win here. So Halo Forager is a good one. If we draw a land next turn, we are going to get to go. See, I think we just play this because now if we draw a land, I think we just attack because we can't block. They're going to get to flip this anyway, but then we get to go Spite Sheoldred, Halo Forager, Spite Sheoldred if we draw a land. So, wow, Emoti is another really good one here. Drag Recycler, not the best draw. So yeah, this is it's an interesting game because we're going to have to try and, I think, outrace them. I think if they had sequenced a little bit better and they had that flip there, we really lose that option. But now we're going to be able to, oh, okay. We're not going to be able to race anymore. So Deadly Derision is a fantastic one because we're going to get to, so here we get to kill Sheoldred. And we should take out Emoti as well. So let's go ahead and just kill Sheoldred and take out Emoti. I'm not going to put anything back, and we're just going to pass, and then we get to block the Drag Recycler if they attack with it, and potentially like put the Host Charger back on top. Or actually, no, we're not going to do any of that because we really want another creature to die here to enable Croxer and Kronos. So Stoke the Flames is certainly good. So I think Croxer and Kunoris, it's a little bit awkward because we don't get to get anything back with it. But if we do the other options here, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. I think we just need to go ahead and run this one out to get the lifelink body online. And then we've just a little bit of praying will occur. But I don't think the opponent had removal, just given the way that they've sort of played and they've used all their removal. So it's from our graveyard to the battlefield. So we can't do this turn, but we can next turn Stoke, and then we can Stoke and then get something back. And potentially we should have, yeah, I think actually what we should have done is potentially chump to get... Yeah, we potentially should have chumped there. So I think we've just lost this one. Potentially we needed to chump last turn to ensure we had something in the graveyard to get back with Kanoris. We did have fun in that match. It was a challenging match, but we're 2-2. We've got to rattle off 5 wins in a row in order to qualify. But I think it's possible with this deck that we could do that. Alrighty, back for game number 5. Another keep here. We don't have the island for Baral and Kari Zev, but we have enough early plays, I think, that we can hopefully survive the early stages of the game. Drawing Halo Forage there is not ideal. Potentially this deck doesn't need to splash as much as it is, and that could be our downfall a little bit. It's a little bit of an out of sequence draw there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and run out the Flitting Gorilla. It blocks both of our creatures very well, so... Perennial Champion's a fantastic one for the opponent, as it always tends to be. So can't block, but I think we just go ahead and run out the Dread Ship. We want to start getting creatures onto the battlefield. No attacks from us, because next turn, I mean, we can play the Phoenix and the Incubator token. An opponent's potentially going to just flip here, and then we can pile on next turn. Alrighty. So I wish we could pile on in response to that. So we're going to 3/4 flyer. We're just going to go ahead and trade here. I don't want them putting the counter on the champion when we pile on. We want them probably to just put it on the Dune Shaper. We don't want either of those cards. We just want mana at this point. That's a good one. But I think here we can pretty safely just Phoenix and then flip the Incubator token, because if we draw a land next turn, we can Javelin the Air and block the flyer, and then we don't have to pile on it. And we've got 17 life here, so we're not in it, like, we're not getting absolutely smashed by the opponent to the point where we have to block there to kill that this turn. And now they've got the 4/3, but we can block that with the Dread Ship. So I think here we just go ahead and we're going to get in with the Phoenix, play the Javelineer, stabilize a fair bit here. I think if they attack with the Dune Shaper, we'll just trade the Dread Ship for it, and if they kill the Javelineer or bounce it like that, oh, we should have activated the Dread Ship first, but that's okay. So opponent, I think we'll get in with the team crew here, and then we just trade here, which is good for that to die first, because now we can actually pile on the Bond Warden here, which we may actually just do on our ups. No, I think we want to see what we draw first before we go ahead and kill this. But now it's fantastic for us because this 1/1 counter is just going to go on the 1/1, and we can trade the 2/2 for that. Oh wow, so Croxter and Kanoros is a very good one here. So let's just go ahead and pile on first. And I think we just want to bin so that we can... It just means that we have the 6 cards and we can Croxer and Kanoros next turn and immediately get the 5/5 haster onto the battlefield and putting pressure on the opponent. And we'll happily trade here. I mean, we're on 8 life. We just don't want to take any more until we can stabilize. So now I'm a little bit worried by the opponent just passing here, but they haven't played a lot. I wonder if they're potentially sandbagging. Is it artistic refusal here they've got? There's so many options. I mean, they could be mana screwed. They could and not have their splash color. They could have Sunfall. They could have artistic refusal. We only have one card we can actually play. I think we just go ahead and run it out. Yeah, I mean, if they've got Sunfall here, it's going to be really tough for us to win. So I think we just have to pray that they don't have the Sunfall. We're going to get... To hit them for 7 here, they probably do have it. But if they don't, we just win. So yeah, I mean, they don't have Sunfall here. They've got the Sunblessed Guardian. It's a little bit awkward for them though, because they're going to have to block. So I mean, they can attack us for 6 with this next turn. They have to block though. They don't have to block this turn. If we attack with everyone... No, they can't flip this because they don't have red. So they have to block this turn. We can just get in. Yeah, so now they can't flip because they can't pay 2 life. So now they're just dead next turn. Oh, Skittering Surveyor. Oh, I don't know if they're going to have a mountain though. They have plains. Oh, if they had the mountain there, would have been very unlucky for us, for them to rip that and kill us for Xaxes. But that was a good game, good bounce back, and I'll see you for game number 6. Alrighty, on to game number 6 here. Interesting hand here. We've got the Final Flourish. We're on the draw. Bloodfeather Phoenix isn't great. Croxter and Kanoros is good. Javelineer is fine, but I think this is just a mulligan. I mean, if we draw a mountain, it's fine. But there's every chance we just don't. And then this hand is like not that good. It's very slow. We can't block anything until turn 5. So I think we have to mulligan that one. This is much more capable. We just put the Branch Burner back. Yeah, this hand's much better. So yeah, that last hand was a little bit interesting, but I think we're pretty happy here to have taken the mulligan, especially during the Skittering Surveyor. We can get double red, we can get double black to cast a Mori. And they get to Traumatic Revelation us. Probably take a Mori here. But that means we can get double red for Chandra. So I think they should take a Mori. I mean, there's also just... Maybe you take Skittering Surveyor, but I think it's so low impact. You just want to take the better creature. Taking that time though, so maybe some consideration for them for taking the Surveyor, but as well, we can hang a Scrounger. Dramatic Revelation is a card that I've certainly been impressed with, and I think pretty good in Sealed as well. Like, just being able to hit the best strong battles and the strong creatures in your opponent's hands early, and if not, incubating 3 as a backup for 4 mana. Like, a 4 mana 3/3 is just kind of fine in Sealed. Like, sometimes it's not good, but it's not so far below a replacement card that you cannot play it. So now we're just going to go ahead and make sure we hit our land drop here. And we're going to get the Swamp so that we can cast Deadly Derision, which was a fantastic draw. Volcanic Spite, also a great draw. So the hand's looking pretty decent at this point. If they don't play anything, we can just hang a Scrounger and make a 3/2 or make Skittering Surveyor a 2/3, depending on what they play. Opponent looks stuck on land as well, given that they planescycled away the Alabaster Host Intercessor. And they haven't immediately snapped off a land here. So we could be on here in terms of just laying down the Scrounger and getting in with the Skittering Surveyor. So opponent is Swamp Cycling again. So I mean, this is where these cards are good, and I think in Sealed the land cyclers get a lot better because it is that little bit slower. You can get away with it just that little bit more. So we hit the land there. think we just want to say go here. Although opponent... No, I think we just want to play out Hanger Scrounger. There is an argument there to just seeing if they'll flip, but they know we have Hanger Scrounger. So if we don't play Hanger Scrounger, they're going to see straight through what we're doing and the fact that we have a removal spell here for them to flip this. If they flip it, they hit us for 6. Or we can just trade the Scrounger for it. Wow, okay, so Dusk Legion Duelist is a really nice one. Gonna want to kill that pretty quickly. So I think we just say go. Oh, there's an argument I think too. Let's just get in with the Scrounger. Cycle away the mountain. And now, I mean, if they block here, I'm very happy to trade there. And then I think we just want to go ahead and... I don't want to risk them having anything for that. And then having Angelic Intervention. So the downside there, I mean, we did rummage away both of our lands. And drawing Chandra certainly is something to keep the mountain. But I think we just want to, like, draw into action there. And now they've got Drana and Limvala. Pretty happy to just kill that one off. We're going to be able to Chandra next turn with the treasure. Set ourselves up as well. Because Chandra can actually do some good things with the invasion. Oofed. So I think we could lay Chandra down, but I think we just want to go ahead and get the Anarchy Javelineer down here. Say go. Because you saw what happened last game when we got to Chandra and Final Flourish. A couple of games ago when we got to Chandra and Final Flourish them. And I think we could set that up again. Especially with Halo Forager, Volcanic Spite. So Chandra can actually go, you can play Chandra. The next turn you can add 2 mana. And then you can Halo Forager and double the spell off the Forager. Which is just absolutely sweet. So now, I think we just want to go ahead and get in here. See what the opponent does. And now I think we just lay the Chandra down. And we're just probably just going to +1. Because we're not going to be able to cast anything. Let's just +1 Chandra. And we might hit like an instant or a sorcery. So we don't hit anything, but we hit a bunch of lands. So pretty happy to have milled all those. Opponent doesn't play anything. I wonder if they have Sunfall here. It's pretty rare that you've got 3 cards in hand. I'm fine with them hitting Chandra here. I'm happy to take 2 points off the Chandra. Chandra just ticks up so quickly. It doesn't really matter too much. So playing out the new Capenna here, I mean, we can just Final Flourish these, I think. Yes, I think actually we just uptick Chandra. We go black. And we can play the Final Flourish. Chandra with Halo Forager is just so good. Because just like if you're doubling a spell every turn limited, it's just absurd. So we get to exile it and draw a card. I mean, we just get to kill it again. So not too big of a problem. Now I can run out Harried Artisan, flip it. I think we just want to pay the life. The life doesn't matter at this point, and the treasure is important to allow us to Halo Forager and Deadly Derision. So now we're in a pretty good spot. I mean, even if they have Sunfall here, Chandra just kills them. So there's probably an argument here to just blocking with Skittering Surveyor to maintain Chandra's -6 to just go to the face with them, which I think I will do. I think Sunfall's one of the only cards we lose to in this spot, and just making sure Chandra can -6 them is probably for the best. Let's go ahead and block here. Don't know what the opponent's going to have. Hoarding Broodlord. That's a sweet one. Don't know what they could get here. This card's so sweet. I had a draft deck once that had Hoarding Broodlord and Chandra, so you could just Hoarding Broodlord, get your Chandra, and just absolutely go off. And it was in a pretty sweet, like I think it was a like black red splashing some blue for some Halo Foragers with a lot of spells and removal, and it was just absolutely nuts deck. But yeah, sweet card, but I don't think it's going to be enough here, and hopefully we get to move on to 4 and 2. Now I'm just going to, I mean, we could just do the Chandra, but I think we just play Halo Forager, pay 4, play it super safe, get the Deadly Derision, copy it and bash them. Absolutely sweet game. 4 and 2. Going to be tough to win 3 in a row, but let's see if we can do it. Alrighty, back again on the draw here. I think this hand is actually a keep. It looks awkward because we don't have the mountain. But if we draw 1 land, we can go Halo Forager, and then we're on the draw, and then we can play Invasion of Rin and just hopefully fix a hand like that. It's really awkward if we don't draw any land, but I'm happy keeping 2 landers on the draw in sealed. We're probably just going to lose to this Chrome Host Seed Shark now, but if we draw land next turn, we can pile on it. That's fine. Hopefully the opponent just plays like a creature, but they're probably going to hold up a spell here. I think they should. If they've got one, they're going to play a creature, stoke the flames. Not what the doctor ordered. Not drawing land. Like we had 4 draw steps there. We only draw 1 land. Pretty unlucky. Can run out Halo Forager. I think we just go ahead and run out Dreadship, because Dreadship doesn't turn on a lot of their like removal spells. I don't want them to just be able to like, if we play Forager for no value, they just remove it and get like a 4/4. Whereas this way, if we draw any land, we can just Deadly Derision this. So now, or pile on it, sorry. Although actually, I think we just Deadly Derision because it gives us the token. So now we can do this on their draw step, which I think we just want to do. The reason for doing it in their draw step is like they had open mana there, so if they have a counter spell or any spell, we want them to do it on their turn. Yeah, like negate. So there's an argument there to just waiting, but having them now do it on their turn means they can't maximize their mana. And now this turn we can pile on. Missed a point there. That's fine. We're not going to complain. And now we just pile on the shark. If they have another negate, I mean, not much we could have really done. But now we're not in the worst spot. We're going to surveil both of these in the bin here. I mean, now next turn we can Harried Artisan and activate this 2/2. And then we like block their whole board. And they've really got to find something else. And the Marauding Dreadship can kill a big creature. We're just trying to get lands for Chandra. We're really lucky that they only had the negate there. They didn't have more spells. Not sure why they're not bashing with the Ica Drinker here. Maybe they think we can't. Man, just need to draw lands here. So I think we really want to maximize our mana in this situation. Like, Harried Artisan into a dying is just so awkward. It's so awful. We could Invasion of Rin and try and hit land, but then we don't get to play anything. So I think we just need to play the Phoenix, because the Phoenix allows us to stoke next turn. And then we'll just trade the 2-2 here, take 2 down to 12. And that seems fine. I mean, opponents only got 3 cards in hand, so if they don't have anything ridiculous here and we can stabilize and get to Chandra, we can win this game. I wasn't hopeful of it, but things are looking up. So we're going to flip here and block the 2-2. They're probably going to... I think they might kill the 2-2 here, which doesn't seem great. So final flourish, that's actually... So now we just crew this in response, and we'll trade the Dreadship for the 2-2. Because now we can, if we draw a land, we can Halo Forager. That's like the worst possible land to draw. It's not awful though. I mean, we can actually just invade. I think we just want an Invasion of Rin here. They're probably going to counter this actually. Yeah, so they have Annihilate Essence. Let's go ahead and get in. But now next turn we can Halo Forager and take this down. They're going to get back the Chromehurst Sea Shark. We can stoke the Flames it. They're not putting us on a huge clock. That's a good one for them. But the fact that they did that before they got to Chromehurst Sea Shark, I mean, if they got to double Shark, that would have been very, very bad for us. Alrighty. So now, actually, I think we just do our own Eyes of Cataxius in response to that. We just really need to hit... Our other option is to just Harried Artisan and flip it. But that just seems so bad to a removal spell. Whereas if we Eyes... I think we can just Eyes of Cataxius here. The reason I don't want to kill the Filleting Gorilla this turn is it means that if we do that, it means they get to play the Sea Shark that turn. It's much better for us here to just trade the Halo Forager for the 2-2, have this blocker up. And now next turn we can Skittering Surveyor and stoke the Flames. Bloodletter Phoenix just not being able to block is just so awkward. So their own Halo Forager. That's just an absurd one for them. Get Deadly Derision or pile on our Halo Forager. Hit us for 6. So now the land. Okay, so we can Skittering. I think we can Skittering Surveyor, play the Artisan, and hold up Stoke. So I think that's what we need to do here. And then just pray that they don't have anything. So Harried Artisan, run this out, no attacks. We can only block 2 things. I think we have to chump the 3-3. We probably should have just flipped the token actually. Because then if we flip the token, we can actually trade it. It's much better if we do it that way. Although next time we can potentially transform this. We just have to hope they hit a land. Hit the land. They're probably going to swing out here. If they have any removal spell, we're just dead at this point. So, yeah. There's a removal spell. I mean, we can stoke something, but that's the game. So finish up this one. Nothing we can do there. I mean, even if we flip this, they're just going to get the win there. Bit of an awkward one. Not hitting the land drops there was pretty unlucky. We just missed too many turns in a row. Couldn't get that one through. So 4 and 3 with this deck. I think the deck was fine. Potentially a little bit too adventurous with the splashing, but I think given our power was just Chandra, we probably needed it. Maybe the option was to play something like Flywheel Rager or another Dreadship or even a Death Guard instead of the second Branch Burner just to stabilize the early game, or another Hanger Scrounger. But yeah, that was a sweet one. A few losses there. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one where we manage to qualify.